I love you. I appreciate you all coming. This week I asked Craig Barton, who is a Fortune Builder field coach, who I have had several coaching calls with, if he wouldn't mind coming in and presenting a topic. And if we're lucky, I'll get him to come, maybe like once a quarter or something, like once every 3 months. He lives in Tucson, so it's not too far of a drive for him. But today he's going to share with you a topic about lease options, because this is something that just came up recently on a property that I'm having trouble offsetting, so this is something that I'm considering, and I said, you know what, let's share it with the group, because knowledge is power, and if you don't know about it, you can't implement it, right? So I will let Craig take away, and yeah, everybody give Craig a big round of applause.
You made it, so freaking awesome that you guys came out tonight. I appreciate it. And it's hard to come to these sometimes, right? What do you say? Yeah. Right? It's like, oh my God, oh my God. And you come. Let me tell you, I did networking. I hate networking now. I can tell you that, right? We're all friends, right? But I don't miss. I don't miss it. Now, when I first started, for 5, 6, 7 years, I couldn't wait. I used to come to Phoenix twice a month. I came to the Tuesday meeting, Azria meeting, and Dave and Bob's meeting, Fix and Flip meeting, for twice a month. For 4 years, I drove up here, right? So networking is important. I've got a lot of stuff for networking. It really is. So congratulations for coming. So, as you know, we're from Fortune Builders, so we need energy, right?
Yeah.
We need energy, right?
Yeah.
You guys are going to have a hard time getting up and used to anything. But if you can, you can sit down, but I want everybody to get up. I know it's a pain in the butt. I know it's a pain in the butt. I know it is, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. Because we're going to do a little Qigong. You know what Qigong is? You do? All right, let's do this. I won't ask you to hit your partner, okay? All right, then I want you to do this on the outside of your arm, right? On the inside of the arm, outside of the arm, inside of the arm, come back up right here. Let's go to the other side. Out, in, up here, back this. All right. Say, I love networking. I love networking. Okay, and we're going to count it on 3 and then crush it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, crush it. All right. Feel that energy? Yeah. That's called chi. That's called chi. It's electric, right? All right. All right. So, we got to do it again. We got a new guy. Everybody got to stand up again. Everybody got to stand up again. All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about me. Not that I want to, but you guys got to know who I am, I guess. I think that's how it goes, right? Anybody want to hear about me? Who are you? I'd love to hear about it. No one wants to hear about me. Okay. So I started in 2004. I was actually living in California. I had an accountant that said, I'm moving to Arizona. I told her I'm moving to Arizona. She said, oh, you know what you do out there? Because everything in California is very expensive, right? Well, I have an IRA with about 90 grand. She goes, you can take your IRA and you can do a self-directed IRA and you can get into trailer parks in Arizona. You can do that. Wow, trailer parks. I'm going to be a mogul. I'm in, right? So I took off here. I got to Tucson. Within weeks, I mean, I'm like, I'm in a job and I'm like, I'm going to do whatever trailer parks that's going to get me out of this job, right? How many know that? Problem, right? All right. So what did I do? First thing I did, take a guess. What's the first thing I did?
Call a realtor.
Call a realtor. Call a realtor. I didn't really call a realtor, though. I called a receptionist. I said, I want to know who your best trailer park agent is. What do you mean trailer park agent? Yeah, don't you have trailer park agents? No, we don't have trailer park agents. What about agents that sell trailers? Well, I don't really know if we have. Is there anybody there? Well, I can ask around, I called a bunch of them. I asked them the same thing. I had no clue, all right? Got this guy on the phone. Well, we have an agent here that does a lot of mobile homes, right? Okay, we talked to him. Got him on the phone. I said, look, I think I can use my IRA to buy a trailer park. He goes, man, you don't want to do that. You can Triad's got all these repots. You can put it on there and you can sell it. You can make a lot of money doing that. I said, okay, let's do that. So that's how my career started. All right? So we went out. I ended up from 2004 to 2007. Anybody remember those dates?
No.
It's the same exact time frame that we're in right now. It's the same exact cycle in the real estate. Between 2004 and 2007, it's the same cycle we're in now. It's the same cycle. You can do what I did then, now. Couldn't do that last 12 years. Okay, so I did about 7 of them. So I learned, and all I did was ask questions. All I did, I'd go down to the city and I would ask them, how do you do this? And they would tell you, you got to do this, you got to present it this way, blah, blah, blah. I would literally be out in the middle of a field. I would hammer in a 5-acre field. I'd hammer in my first, by the way, it was my first experience with Toyotas. Was it Jaguar? I never knew what that was. So I'd hammer in a screwdriver with a tape measure, 150-yard tape measure, and I would mark it right there, pull my screwdriver up, and go back, and I'd measure 5 acres out with a tape measure. That's how I was doing it.
Wow.
Trying to figure out just ridiculously. Don't do that, okay? Well, one time I was backing up and hit that Toyota in the back of my head. And then I hit it, and then it would come up your leg. You know how it does that? And I could not get out of there. It was 105 degrees, and I was out there. And that's another story. I'm like taking 2 screwdrivers and trying to pull that thing out. But anyway. All right, so that was my experience, right? Now, 2007 rolls around. I did 7 of them. Still own 1. Why? Because it was 2007 and it was time to sell, right? Get the picture? Market went down. Made a lot of money on that, even though I bought it high. Okay. 2007, I watched a show called Flip This House. Very first show ever. Anybody ever saw Richard from North Carolina? The very first Flip This House show. Remember him? He used to fly a helicopter in. Tell you a little story about him. He was the actual one that invented the show. Richard was, yeah. There was no other shows, no other flip shows. There was only one, Flip This House. Dan and them came in after him. So I saw that for the first time. I said, boom, that's what I want to do. I literally did this. Boom, that's what I want to do. Literally did that in my certificate. And boy, I was off to the races because these manufactured homes were like, oh my God, it's so much. You know, it was too dangerous. And the market was going down, and we didn't know what was coming in 07. I mean, I had no clue what was coming. We hadn't hit nothing yet, right? So I didn't know. But I had some good experiences. So I bought a program from Lou Brown. Anybody know Lou Brown? Street Smart Secrets, $10,000. That's the first money I spent in a program. Street Smart Secrets. Guy out of Georgia teaches this. This is exactly where I learned Street Smart Secrets. I'm going to share a couple things in here a couple of trick things that he taught me, and a couple of little trick pluses that he taught me that you're going to see tonight. So anyway, so he had the whole enchilada where he teach you how to flip, teach you how to wholesale, teach you how to sound familiar, teach you how to do lease options. He's big on owner carry stuff. He taught a lot of stuff. Now guess how he taught? Books like this. You know, it actually wasn't even that nice. It was a binder and paper and CDs. So every morning I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning because I wanted to get 2 or 3 hours in with my binder, my CDs, and I would read everything. I did it all wrong there too. I read through the whole thing, and guess what? Didn't remember anything. Right? Remember some of the stuff. But then I realized, oh, this is my library. And that's what you guys have at Fortune Brothers. You have a library. We have to go back to things. And by the way, it's educate. Some of you might have heard me say this before. It's educate, take action. Educate, take action. Get a coach. It's basically your sequence. You can't just educate. Because you forget, right? And that's exactly what I did. I just went through, I rolled right through everything. That was helpful. It was helpful. But I had to go back. Right? I had to go back. So I started learning. So anyway, made my first deal. My first wholesale deal was $14,000. boom, off to the races. So, made my first deal. My second deal was I kept a note in place with an owner carry deal I learned from Lou Brown. She took a promissory note. I haven't done one since. It's the only one I do. $105,000. She just wanted a monthly income. I paid her $600 a month for, I think it's 15 years, something like that. Guess what? I still pay on that note today. Second deal I ever did. Follow what I just said? She agreed to take a promissory note on $105,000, zero interest. Okay? You follow me here? So we did a deal. I got the 105. Now that's setting me free. Now I'm free. Okay, that's what it took. So it took from 04, 05, 06, 07. I mean, yeah, we're making these deals, but man, the money is just, I don't know. I mean, it's just gold. I've got 3 kids, a wife, we've got a brand new house, 2 new cars. We're living good, but it takes a lot, right? Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Wife not working, no income, I'm the income, right? So when I hit that, boom, I'm off to the races. Now, I started building houses in 2008, 2009 market. So there you go. Now full circle. Down, up, right? Down market, recovered market, expansion market, right? Down, just like this, right? So 2005 was up here. 2019 is up here. 2005, I could do manufactured homes on land home packages. 2019, we could do land home packages. Okay? Pretty cool? Any questions? That's it. That's pretty much it. So we're going to talk about lease options. This is my favorite way to sell properties. My favorite way to sell properties, lease options. Now we're talking about an exit strategy, right? What do we all need here? Money. Deals, money, anything else? So I feel a little bit bad because we're talking about an exit strategy. This is the sexy part, right? I figured I'd come in with the sexy stuff because you guys would be happy about coming in with the boring stuff, right? So we're going to talk sexy tonight, all right? So, but we do need to get the property first. I mean, that's first and foremost, and that's the issue that we're having today, right? I just want to touch on that a little bit. Developing our weekly market routine, some of my students know. Developing our seller script, getting to direct sellers right now. What's the difference between somebody that needs to sell in a down market and somebody that needs to sell in an up market? Anybody? What's the difference? What do they do in a down market? Somebody that needs, we need people that need to sell, right? Guess what? All of you, and me included, need to sell a property someday in your life. You get to a point, maybe you might skate through life and never have to be in that situation. It wasn't me. I've been in that situation a few times where I was a motivated seller, right? So it's not these other people out here that are motivated sellers. We're all can be a motivated seller at some point in our life. Look at it that way. We all need some help at some point in life. You're going to hit bottom, right? You're going to hit, all of us do, right? And if it hits you, or you got a property, it hits you, everything hits you, your divorce hits you, this hits you, whatever, you're going to be a motivated seller. So what does the motivated seller do in a down market? Gives their property back to the bank, right? What does a motivated seller do in an up market? Calls a realtor. Or you. That's the 2 choices. They either know you or they call a realtor. They either get a piece of mail or they call a realtor. We're all from birth taught to call a realtor. So everybody knows that. Even though, just like me, I called a realtor for a trailer park, right? And no clue. They have no clue either. And you guys are in these circles and you're like, oh my God, everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing this. But you ever like a red car or some kind of car you never saw before, but all of a sudden you like that car and all of a sudden you see it everywhere? Yep. Same thing with this. People don't see you. They're not in the real estate business. They're in their business, right? They're in their job business. They don't see you. As soon as they go to sell their house, all of a sudden there's all kinds of people there. It's our perception that opens. Our perception opens to what's available and what we need, right? You guys know this already. That's how many of you don't know. But it's good to understand this because obviously we can get sidetracked thinking that, oh, everybody's out there doing it. Guess what? There's 2 million homes here, right? Not everybody can do 2 million homes. All right, so basically with lease options, we're going to go into a couple things. I'm going to share with you the benefits of buying on a lease option, and I'll share with you the benefits and the pitfalls of buying on a lease option and also selling on a lease option. I do not buy on lease options, okay? And I'll explain to it too. But in the lease option, when you're buying, you can control the property. You can control the property. If the market goes up, I'm in good shape, right? I got this lease option, the market's up. I'm controlling this property. The market goes down, I'm in good shape, right? Here's your house back. I've had an option to buy it. I don't want it. So buying a lease option as somebody that's going to live in a house, it's a very good option for that. Buying a lease option for an investor can be a little bit dicey, in my opinion, because I don't have the title. Okay, and I'll share with you. Okay, so we also have the ability to negotiate really good terms when you're buying, right? If you're dealing with an owner who doesn't know much about a lease option, I can negotiate some pretty good terms with it, right? Okay, it's a big advantage. Buy in with no worry of a due on sale clause. And I don't worry about due on sale clause anyway, but we have one that was called due. It was like the first one ever. So I'm wondering if I'm in the right meeting. I'm wondering if I'm in the right meeting. I don't want that mojo to rub off on me because she actually had a due on sale.
It's good. It's only 1 in a million, so I was that one, so you're good.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
safe. Everybody else is safe.
Yes.
We need another million to go through.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, if it was only the last.
But you know what, though, when you have institutional, like, you have these off-brand type banks, who was it?
Stearns Lending.
Yeah, they're more like aren't they like a private, they might be private, but they're not like,
FHA loans.
well, they can do FHA loans, but they're probably smaller, they're not publicly traded, big corporations, which mostly you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be dealing with, the Wells Fargo's that sell their loan to somebody else, or something, whatever. But anyway, for the most part, we don't have to worry about that on this. You can buy when there's not a lot of equity. Hoping that it will go up in the future, obviously. As long as it's got a price work ratio, we'll touch on that. So the pitfalls when buying on a lease option is we don't go on the title, right? So what can happen if you're not on the title? Now you control the property. You control the property. You have all rights to the property. You could win in a court of law, right? But what happens if I had bought a lease option in 2012 and somebody in Phoenix has sold me their house at $165 and now it's selling for $325,000? And I tell that guy, you need to come down and sign this paperwork off because we sold the house and he sees that you're making $120,000 in the house. That's okay. He's got to sign, but what if he says, whoa, you're going to hear it, right? That's what I have an issue with trying to buy on a lease option. It's just me. You might not have that problem. It's not necessarily a problem. I'm just bringing it up. Okay, what if he dies? What if the guy dies? You got to go through probate, right? Guess what? You got sons and daughters and all this, right? Now, they're going to get a lawyer. That lawyer is going to start working on that paperwork, see if they can get around. And believe me, you still have all rights, but you're going to go through and they might find a hole. If your paperwork's not done right, they might find a hole. See what I'm saying? Plus, what's that?
Is there any way to draft some sort of a legal agreement to avoid probate?
Is there any way to draft a legal agreement to keep it out of probate?
Yeah.
Right?
A TOD.
If you're not on the title, I'm not sure.
You mean on your side of the deal where you're the buyer?
Yeah, so if
There may be.
It's
I'm
a
not sure.
TOD.
What's that?
Transfer on death. There's certain ways to do it. But
Well,
you
that's
want
if
to
you're
have
on
it
title,
done
though.
with a lawyer.
No, the only way is that
You
you
might be able
trust
to.
that transfers.
Yeah, if it's you have to put it in a trust.
For us as the buyer, we have no recourse.
There might be something you could do. That's a good question. It's a very good question. There may be something you could do. There may be something. You definitely need lawyers to get it. You have to get a lot of stuff. And I don't have that type of wherewithal. Because I don't do these. I just don't buy them. But there's nothing wrong with buying them. I'm just So insurance claim, you better have your insurance on it, right? So if you go and do a lease option, you just leave it out there and it burns down, right? Guess who's getting the check? The owner. Do you have all rights to that check? Yeah, you got right to the check, but hey, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fight for that check. You're gonna go hire a lawyer. You're gonna go and not even, you don't know that you're gonna win or not. Just because you have all rights, judges are judges. They judge according to that contract. If your contract got holes in it again, you could have an issue. Okay, now in selling, this is my favorite way.
When you talk about buying lease option, are you talking about buying it from the standpoint of occupying the property or buying it from the standpoint of holding the note or?
I'm talking about buying in the sense that's an investment property. Like you could buy, if you're buying and living in the property, you're actually better off using the lease option buying and living in the property. Because if you're living in the property, there's more leeway because you are actually would be considered some sort of equity position by a lot of judges. I don't want to get into that, but no, we're talking for tonight, we're talking about investment properties.
So you would buy the lease option and then rent the property that you leased?
What's
Would you
that?
buy the lease option and then rent the property?
Yes, we're going to get into that. Yes, I buy in different ways, and I have some examples of exactly what I do. Okay, so we'll get into that. So the selling price, when I'm selling, my selling price could be higher than a normal price. Why? Because I'm offering payments, right? People need financing. Half your market out there, half the people cannot even buy a house and they want to own a house, right? So they need the financing. What is important to those people? First of all, they want to be able to control a house that they know that this landlord is not going to come and take it back from them, right? And they want a payment that's in line with the rental market. If I can offer you a payment that's in line with the rental market and tell you, hey, you have the option to buy this house, it's better than renting, right? What's that? They're going to take care of it. That's one of the advantages we get, right? We can depreciate the property. So I still get the tax benefits, right? Your capital gains lessens after a couple of years. If I'm going to hold on to this and sell to somebody on a lease option and sell it at a higher price, guess what? No realtor fees, right? No closing costs. Why is that? Because he's got to pay the closing costs in my contract, right? I don't pay anything. I roll that down, depreciate it down, and in a couple of years, my capital gains tax even starts getting lower, right? So I'm getting all kinds of benefits from selling on a lease option rather than throwing it in MLS, right? The issue is your price to rent ratio. A lot of times when we're buying more expensive, and we'll get into it, but when we're buying more expensive houses, it's not going to work. See, this only works in certain strategies. It doesn't work in every single situation. Tenant is responsible for repairs, right? Could adjust the principal balance if the option is not exercised on time. All right, what does that mean? I can make my option what I want as an investor. First of all, I want to make as much money as I can and not pay commissions. Okay? Also, I want to protect my equity. Also, I want somebody to keep care of the house in case they move, in case they decide they don't want it, right? Somebody that's buying on a lease option is typically going to keep care of the house because they feel like they're buying a house. Usually. Not always, but usually, right? That's what I'm looking for. So what happens if I say, okay, we're going to set this up in a 2-year, you can set up whatever you want, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. When it's down market, I was doing 5 years. Why? Because it was down and everybody was like, it was just a weird feeling, right? In an up market, I'm more closer to 2 years. So what I'll do is that I'll set a price at this number. I'll say in 2 years, you can buy it at this number. And if you don't buy it in 2 years, it starts going back up. So I protect my equity. Remember, their interest is they want to control the house. They're retail buyers. They go out MLS and buy one. That's what they're paying for, right? Okay. What other goodies are we getting? Can you think of anything else when I sell that house on my side? Can you think of anything? I'm using my contract, right? What does my contract say? You pay all the closing costs. And there's no inspections. been living in the house. No inspection, right? You like inspections? You like inspections? Right, you gotta get an appraisal. All right. If they default, we can evict. We don't have to go through a foreclosure, right? We collect a non-refundable option fee. All right. So the pitfalls in selling the lease option, value drops, right? Buyer walks, you got a vacancy repairs. Am I really worried about that? If it drops, guess what? I just got a little bit longer. So I really don't care what happens. No, in fact, I don't want them to buy it. I do lease options because I don't want to rent them. And if they buy it, that's fine. And I want somebody to take care of it. I don't want to hear from them. And so really, I might well make more money in the long term by just renting it if they don't. But if they don't buy it, which happens a lot, I basically have a glorified renter right. That's my thing. So the payment's a non-refundable $6,000 option fee, right? So these are important clauses that I'm going to go over real quick. This is what I learned from Lou Brown, Street Smart Secrets. Okay? So this is what I just touched upon. My price, $179.9 until that date, right? Agrees to sell this property at a given price as referenced in an exhibit. I'm going to show you this in a second. At any time that you exercise that agreement. So I do it this way. So I have my option agreement, and then I take a regular amortized loan, okay, and I do it in Google, and I copy and paste it into this exhibit. So if you look at this loan, you can see it works out similar to a regular loan would work out, right? This is an actual deal, by the way. This is an actual deal. I copied and pasted and put it in this thing. So this came up to like 6.5%. It's a pretty good deal. Now I match that number to whatever my number is. If my number is $1,000 a month, this should come up to what does that come up to? 782? What's that? 1,100, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's 1,000. It's 1,000. So that's exactly what the payment is in that house. So it comes up to that exact amount, and you got to sit there and play with it. You got to get it exactly right. And then I have 3 contracts. I have my option contract, I have a rental contract, and then I have my exhibit contract. They also get, yes.
Is there a limit on how long they can lease it before they buy it?
The question is there a limit on how long they can lease it before they buy it? Okay, it's a good question. We're going to get into that. So we have a 2-year buyout, and we're going to get it the best, right? I have a 5-year option to call in my contract. So if they don't exercise their option within 5 years, I hold the option. I hold the right to call. What's that? Due on sale, right? I hold the option. That's not this. I don't. Never call it. Stayed in it? Okay, good. Don't talk to me. That's it. Don't call me. All right? So I also have a 10-day inspection thing, just to let you know. I mean, I do like a little inspection. It says on my inspection thing, it says, everything's perfect in this house. You're buying it as is. It's perfect. I give you 10 days to write right here. Anything that's not perfect, you can send it to me. If they don't send it to me, I got the perfect room inspection, right? If they send it to me, we may fix some things. I may not. Make sense? So they sign right there on the spot that they're taking the house perfectly as is. Okay. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier. So we got a 2-year pay down, and then a 0.5% per month it goes up, right? So then after April 30th, this price shall increase by 0.5% per month, 6% per year. I've done 0.75% per month. Never had a problem. 0.5% per month, not a big deal, right?
It's a lot.
Not a big deal? Huh? Is it?
Yeah.
It's it? It is? Well, you're not going to buy my house then. I'm going to let you buy it. All right. All right, so there's your question. Option to call. So my price is up here. They pay down. down to 2 years, right? They didn't pay it off. This is their lowest point. Starts going back up. 5 years. I got an option to call that. Now their price was $179.9. What do you think it's going to be in 5 years? $189.9. $199.9. I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be close. They still are making payments, so it does work out a little bit differently than you might think. But for the most part, it was up. Yeah.
Are the payments fixed for that entire 5 years? And is it 5 years plus the 2 years, or is the 2 years inclusive of the 5 years?
Can I say that again?
Are the payments that they're making fixed for the entire
Yes.
time, like
yes.
a
Payments
loan?
are saying.
Okay. And
Yeah.
the 2 years.
I
that
have the option to raise the payments, but I don't. So in my rental contract, I have an option that says after 2 years, basically I have a rental contract. I don't want to get into that, but for the most part, you should probably keep the payments the same. But go ahead, what was your next question?
Because so like the mortgage, it's going down for 2 years, and then at the end of those 2 years, it starts going back up at a 0.5% a month.
The principal balance.
Right.
Yes.
So is the 5-year period inclusive of the 2 years, or is it 5 years that starts after the 2-year period?
That's inclusive.
No, 5 years from the day they purchased.
Okay.
5 years. So they purchase, it goes down 2 years, back up to 5 years. Then their contract is no good anymore. If they don't exercise their option in 5 years, their contract's no good. They can stay in the house. I have the option to call.
If they stay in the house, will you keep it at the same amount like rent?
Yeah, typically.
Won't you lose at that point? Don't you start, I mean, when you adjust for inflation, the fact that you've stuck at a fixed price for 5 years, are you still making money on it?
It depends on what your goal is. Okay? Depends on what your goal is. Usually my goal is long term. And you don't lose. I mean, you're going to be dictated to what the market does, right? So the question is, do you lose do you lose if you sell it at 2 years rather than 5 years? I think that's your question, right? What's the question?
No, after 5 years, if you don't sell it, do you leave them in there at the same price that they were paying initially?
Oh,
Typically,
yes.
rents would go up.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
Right,
Good.
now 5 years
Okay.
later, you
Misunderstood.
have inflation and all that stuff, so at 5 years, if they don't take the option and you don't follow up, do you let them stay at that same price per month that you were originally doing?
Gotcha. You do whatever I want.
Grant,
You can do whatever I want.
But what do you
So
recommend?
that house is now worth $270. In 5 years, he didn't exercise his option. Guess what he could buy the house for? $279. I'll do another option. I'll sell it to you for $279. Your payments are $1,400. We'll do the same thing. 2 years, 5-year option to call. That would be my guess.
Okay.
so it's the same.
Yeah, so he would just renegotiate at 5 years.
You can always renegotiate. You can always negotiate. When your contract's up.
Are you giving them credit? So I'm in the party for this, so I've seen this a million times. Are you giving them credit toward their payments to reduce the balance?
Yes.
Okay, 'cause a lot of times I'll see people who buy on lease option and the seller didn't do that, sometimes they do that.
Yes.
And
You can do it a lot of different ways. This is what I'm doing right now currently. I've done it different than this. Right now, in this market, I'm doing 2-year options with escalating clause after 2 years with an option to call in 5 years. I could do what he said. I could say, hey, look, I'll give you the option to buy this house at this price. And guess what? If you want to buy it in 2 years, I'll give it to you at that price. There's no pay down, no buy down, no nothing. You can do it that way. People don't, that's usually not attractive to people because they want to be paying on something, right? I want them to pay on something. I want them to feel good. I'm trying to create a win for them. But they're retail buyers. They go out in the market. These are buyers that go out in MLS and get a realtor. They pay retail for houses. These aren't investors, follow me? And these are people with bad credit that need help, right? So we're trying to create a win at a retail level. Does that make sense? Okay? Purchase and sell agreement, this is very, very important. All we do is when they're ready to opt, they don't pay for the option contract. They pay for the purchase and sale agreement. So when they say, okay, I want to exercise my option, what month are you in? I'm in January, let's say it's 2020, right? Okay, your payoff is 178. We do a purchase contract at 178. What does my purchase contract say? It says you pay all the closing costs. My number is 178,641, whole. No inspections, no appraisals. That's my number. That makes sense? Ain't no commissions. Like that? How many sold a house and got the full amount? How many? How many of you got the full amount of your price? No one. That's how you do it.
If you sell at that time, what if they're financing with a bank? They still require an appraisal, right?
They are required to pay for the appraisal.
But really, as long as your market,
There is an appraisal done on the house, but I don't pay for it.
yeah. So you're just saying you don't pay for the appraisal, it's not the no appraisal is done.
They're going to appraise it.
Yeah.
I can't hear for some reason, I'm sorry. Maybe it's me. Yeah, I see. But yes, you're going to get an appraisal on it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I want my money. I like money. I like money. Is that, that's not a bad thing, guys. You can't help nobody if you don't have no money. You think you're going to go help somebody with no money? Oh, I'm going to help the world. They ain't got no money. We got to help you. You're a pain in the ass. You're dragging us down. Oh, money's the root of all evil. Really? You ain't got none. You're evil. Because I got to pay for you. Money's not bad. And they're drinking every day. Every so much of it. You got to get our hands on it, right? Why? Because I'm reading? No, I mean the paper. Who cares about the paper? You care about the paper? You care about the freedom it gives us, right? Who I can help? Who I can help? I got kids. I can help them. I don't even want to help them anymore. I'm looking for somebody else to help. I don't help them enough. Okay? I'm looking for people to help. Does that make sense? So I like mine. I like mine. I don't have enough of it. I really don't. I really don't. All right. Where am I? Okay. I'm going backwards. Okay. All right. So here's the strategies. Okay. So we're going to get into it. Okay. So now you can do a lot of different things with lease options. Some of you wholesalers in here might want to listen up here. These are strategies we can do and make money without even knowing. These are strategies we can do, bring in money without even with investors and take money out and things of that sort. These are the strategies we can do. Subject to keep a mortgage in place, right, with no money out of pocket. Usually going to need some money, right? Whether it's an investor money or not. But a coinciding lease option, you don't need any money. Okay? This is an actual deal that I did. I've done, and I don't go after these, by the way. These are ones that from leads I come in. See, I just try to get leads. I don't go after lease options. I don't go and try to do this. I get leads coming in. I don't tell a property what to do. The property tells me what to do. I have my toolbox ready. I can wholesale the property. I can rehab the property. I can buy it on a subject to and do a lease option. I can do a coinciding lease option because nothing else makes sense. Okay? Properties tell me what to do. I never tell a property what to do. 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, I told the properties what to do. I bought up here in Phoenix. Guess what? I got clocked because I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys if I'd let the property tell me what to do. I went out there and rehabbed them, made them beautiful, and sold them cheap. They're all worth 5 times as much. I bought houses in Phoenix for $22,000. Put $30,000 in them and sold them for $90,000. The house is worth $250,000 right now. I bought a house in Litchfield Park for $87,000. 1,500 square foot, 2004, right next to a park. I told that house what to do. I flipped it for $140,000. It's worth $300,000 now. Don't tell properties what to do. Let them tell you what to do. Now I know better. How did I learn that? Looking back, right? And so I'm telling you guys that right now because this is what we got to learn. This is what we got to do. That's why you're here, right? All right. Coinciding lease option. Wow, what is this? All right. I got a $350,000 house. Price to rent ratio with lease options is everything. But if I don't have a good price to rent ratio, in other words, if my rent is lower than my mortgage or what I've got to pay, that's a bad price to rent ratio, right? So we run into houses like this all the time, especially now. This is the big problem we have. We have somebody that owes $325,000 on the house. It's worth $350,000. They got to move to the East Coast. That's your scenario. That's actually the scenario that I get 3 times, by the way. Now, what is that telling me? I got to go. I had this guy was a defense contractor or a security for defense contractor, I don't know, and they were sending him back to Washington, D.C. And he had all the security clearance guy, whatever it is, for what's the missile thing down there? Raytheon, right? Raytheon. He was a service contractor for Raytheon. Help, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he's getting sent back to Washington. He's got to go. He's got a serious job here. He makes a lot of money. He's in this house right now. It's probably worth $425, but at the time it was worth about $350. He owed, I think, like $330. Can't sell it, right? Can't sell it. Called me on an ad. Called me on some ad. Hey, I got this house. What can you do? This is what I can do. All right. So price to rent ratio is bad, but if somebody's buying a house, they'll pay that number. Now, I typically on your blue collar, bread and butter houses in the middle of town, I want to be close to rents. I can be a little higher than rents, but I want to be close to rents. And nicer homes where people's got money and they need financing, they will pay what a normal mortgage would cost because they have the way. So when you're dealing with more expensive homes, now this is not that expensive anymore, but back in 2012, I believe it was, about 2013, this was expensive, right? Okay, so what I tell the owner is, okay, I'll market the property for you. I'm going to take a $9,500 down payment. I'm going to lease option into him and lease option back out to my buyer. So my lease option into him says, hey, I'm going to buy your house with a lease option contract. Not buy this house for cash. I'm going to buy your house with a lease option contract. I'm going to do all the paperwork. I'm going to set everything up. I'm going to take the $9,500. I'm going to set it up for you. You're going to sell your property at $379,000. No fees, no realtors. Can you hold on to it? You're going to get the depreciation on your taxes, right? Oh, I can get that? Yeah. You're going to have $100 on cash flow. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool. Right? He's got nowhere to go anyway. What's he going to do? So we sell it. He's responsible for it. I manage it, though. Okay? Forget which way I go. Okay. All right. So I optioned into the seller. Said, I'm going to sell this property on an option contract. Okay? 0 consideration. 0. He needs somebody to buy this property at a higher price. You got to understand what he needs. He needs somebody to take over that payment and buy it at a higher price someday. I don't care when that is. I'm going to get the tax write-off. I'm going to get whatever I can get, blah, blah, blah. I got nowhere to go. So I do all the paperwork, and I assign that contract back to the seller. Okay? So he gets all the paperwork back after I fill it all out. I assign it back to him. Does that make sense? Ever heard of that before? You know why I know you never heard of that before? I made it up. I made it up. I literally made that up. I was sitting in an Ashria meeting, and Wendy Patton came over. And I'm all high and mighty, thinking I made something up. You don't even know. She made it up too. She was doing the same thing. That's my strategy. She's teaching it. She's got one better. She's selling the product. She did the same thing. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Huh? What's that? $9,500. Cold cash. All right. Same thing. On one side of this option.
Wrong direction. Gotta go the right.
All right. All right. So he had to make a payment. He only made one payment by selling. Made one payment. I got somebody in there right away. I mean, I had people on this thing. Right now, I could probably get 12 grand. This is a nice house, overlooking the mountains. I mean, you know, these are the nice ones. I took 9,500 down, I contracted the seller. I take care of it minimal management. I don't manage the money or anything like that. It goes in, I set it up to where it goes in his account, but guess what they call for? Where's the pool key? I had that problem. Pool key. I could not get a pool key because it had to be his name. He had to come down. He's in Washington, D.C. And, you know what the crap goes in. All right. So, original tenant moves out, trashes the house. What did I say? What a great opportunity. What a great opportunity. I went in and spent $4,500. Got me another $9,500. I made $14,500 on that from 2014 to now. $14,500. No skin in the game. You like $14,500? Anybody? You like that? That's a wholesale deal. You know what you're doing. You can find deals like this. Find deals like this. Okay, next one.
Wait, I'm confused. How did you get the second 9,500?
A tenant moved out, drug addict. In fact, I'll tell you that story. We evicted her, right? In fact, I hold a judgment against her for like $4,000 right now as we speak. So I got a judgment following her around for the rest of her life. Guess what? I think it's like 6.5%. I might make all my money back on that. Someday she's gonna have a rude awakening, right? She's gonna have a house. She's gonna go to a title company. I'm gonna sell my house. Oh, you old Craig. I told you I like money, right? Oh, Craig, what's the payoff on that judgment we got? Oh, it's about $18,000 we're talking about. How much you get? You're making 25. I think I want 18.
I want to settle for half.
Just put my life, huh?
She's going to want to settle for half.
Yeah, I'll probably settle.
Darn!
I'm
Double what you
I'll
started.
I'll settle. You know, I'm on the flip side of that. I'm trying to get the judgment done right now. But anyway, that's another story. All right. So I forgot about that. I just thought about that. I got adjusted to, right? So anyway, are we on the next one? Yeah. Okay, so this is the next strategy. Okay, purchase a wholesale property and repair. You guys are familiar with this, right? I got a property at 65–70% minus repairs. I bought a property. I financed it with a private investor. I could finance it with a regular institution too. I just so happen to have a private investor. It keeps working, tax-free, working capital. Okay. I sell it on a lease option to a buyer. So normal purchase like you're doing a flip, right? I buy it cheap. I fix it up. Big rehab only because I got the money. Now, if I don't have the money, I might not be doing this, right? Okay. So I purchased it for $60,000. I put $30,000 into it. I brought an investor at 6% equity and 50%. I mean 6% on his money and 50% equity in and over $100,000. Okay. My payment is $500 to him. Follow me here? In other words, he gets equity in the house because he's giving me $100 cash. But I'm giving him only equity anything over $100. Follow me? All right. So plus $7,000 cash out at close. So when I closed, I took $7,000. You like that? Follow me? I made it 93 after everything. I get 100. I take 7. Goes right here, tax-free. Got me? You like that? That's nothing. But I took it. Sold it for $149,900. Had a consideration fee of $6,000. Where's that $6,000 go? No, it goes in this one. 7 goes here. 6 goes here. All right. You like that so far? So I'm holding 13, right? $1,100 a month, $110 discount when paid on time. $990 a month is your payment. That guy has never paid me $990 a month. He's actually 11. This is actually the new guy has never paid me $1,100. I mean $990. So in other words, I say, hey, look, I'll give you a pay. When I market the property, your payment's only $990. Your payment's only $990 when you pay on the 25th. If you don't pay on the 25th, it's $1,100. Follow me? So here it is. Here's the final numbers. So I got $290 cash flow. Over 30 months, if it all works out, like if that buyer buys it 30 months, I get $8,700. I got $13,000 up front, tax-free, right? One pocket here, one pocket here, right? So my total to the investor is $22,000. So he's going to get $22,800. He's going to get $44,540 when it's all said and done. You think he's happy? Okay. The home value right now, it's actually a little higher than that. It's probably worth about $152. Okay. Now, I did that twice. The first time, it was $139. I had somebody come in with $6,000 down. She stayed in the property for a year and a half, and she wanted to move. She wanted to go back to California. Gave me the house back. I did it again. So I actually picked up that $6,000 twice.
So the investor made 6% when it's 100,000, and then how much did he make when you sold it for 1.7?
I didn't sell it yet. I still own it, but he's going to get 50% of everything over 100.
Over 100,000.
Right. Now, that's just how I negotiate it. I do things like this, just 8% flat. No equity. I did this to keep it with 100. Like, if I have some institutional money, they come in with a second, I do things a little bit different, you know. It just, you can do whatever you want. How do you think I know this? I made it up. Made it all up. Okay. Now, I just did that one twice now. Did it twice. So those numbers are even, these are real numbers. These are not bullshit. I'm including my closing costs. You know what I hate these meetings when these guys come in and they give you all this crap. My numbers are real. I even include my closing costs and everything in these ones. Okay, this is what we just did. We just did this one. This is a subject to existing mortgage. Gotta want a pre-foreclosure list. Door knocking. Gotta want a door knocking, right? So we're out there door knocking. This guy is losing his house. He's going back. He's an Indian. He's going to the reservation. Real nice guy. He's done, right? He's got everybody after him. You know, they're coming after him. He hates it and all this stuff. So he owed in back payments $14,000. That's not good, right? Yeah, you guys start getting nervous right there, huh? That kills almost everyone. Dead. $14,000 you need to come up with. But I got my investor, right? So my investor has $30,000. Guess what I'm giving him? 6% plus $2,500 equity. Why did I do that? He's only coming in with 30. Plus he ain't coming in with most of the money. Plus I got a deal. I got the deal, right? Who heard my lion story? We got to be lions, right? No one eats till the lion eats. You heard that before, right? No one eats till the lion eats. He can't eat unless I get the deal. The hyena can't eat unless the lion gets the antelope. The little birds hanging around, right? Yeah, the buzzards. The hyenas are the lenders. Hey, what you got there, Craig? I got some money I'll lend you. Right? The little birds, that's the tiger one. Hey, you got a deal, Craig? You got a deal? Right? You got a deal? The buzzards, that's the wholesalers. Hey, I can help you sell that. No one eats till the lion eats. Right? He needs me. He doesn't eat. What's his $30,000 going? Stock market? Well, stock market's pretty good. But he hates the stock market. He hates it. Why? Why do you think he hates the stock market? He's been down that road before, right? He buy paper. You can buy paper in the stock market. You can buy brick and mortar, right? Where somebody has to live. Paper to paper. I heard on the way, I listened to 1015, what is it, 1015, the finance station here? I was listening on the way in. Yeah, they're doing really, really bad, but their stocks are up. There's no rhyme or reason, right? That sector's doing bad, but the stocks are up on it. Man, this place is crazy. All right. So I only cashed out $3,500. Not happy. It took me, I ate up 9,000 in rehab, 14,000 back payments. I wasn't planning on that. I was planning on getting away with about 10, 15 grand on this. I ended up getting away with 35. Does that happen? Yes or yes? That's what we know, right? That's what we really know. That's the real numbers. I'm thinking I'm walking away with 15. I got 30. I think I'm walking away with 15. I got 30. Turns into 35.
Where was your calculations off? Was it on ARV or rehab or
Good
back
question.
payments?
The rehab, and we ended up holding it for I had like 3 payments. And that was about it. The rehab. It's always the rehab.
$9,000 for a rehab, though. I think all of us are looking at that and wondering how you got away so little.
This was a 2004 house. Nice stucco, beautiful area.
That makes sense.
Carpet paint, right? Carpet paint, only supposed to paint. That's a carpet paint job in a 2004 house. That's getting away cheap too, by the way. All right. So what did I do? I sold for $199. $9. $7,000. Where's that go? It goes in my back pocket. I like money all over the place. It's like a month thing. $1,200 a month, they get a $100 discount to pay on time.
Who pays the consideration fee?
What's that?
Who pays the consideration fee?
Who pays the what?
Consideration fee.
They do.
The buyer?
The buyer does. So he gave me $7,000. Guess what his payoff is? $199.9. That's just an option consideration fee. It's just consideration. So he paid $207,000 for the house. Not $199. Every number I gave you there, that's not what they're paying. They're giving me that plus the consideration fee. I showed you 147. You gave me 6. Now it's actually selling for 153. Tax free. You like tax free? Yeah. You got to pay it at some point, but
How are you establishing the monthly price? Is it based on market rents, or are you using amortization tables for the sale
anybody want to
price?
tell them?
You just make it up.
I make it up. I made it up.
For me, how do you make it up? What's your basis?
Okay, there is an answer. I'm just
And
playing.
same with your consideration fee. It seems like you're sitting around that 6,000 and 7,000. Why? Why is that the number?
Just the type of property it is.
Okay.
No other reason. I got 9,500 on the expensive property. Right now, I'm trying to get 12 on the expensive. These properties are.
Yeah, I just want to know if is that related in any way to the sales price overall? Is that
No.
that you're looking at? Or?
I always look at 3% of the sales price.
Okay.
So I kind of have a guide like that. So I'll look at 3%. I know 3%. I'm probably pretty safe. If it's a real nice property, I'll try to get more than that. But I don't ever want to go less than 3.
Okay.
Okay, good question. And to answer your question, what I'll do is I'll comp this out. Okay? I'll figure out what it's worth now, and then I'll figure out if it goes, if it averages 3.5% for the next 2 years, what would it be? And that's how I actually come up with my number. So I'm trying to get, and I do 3.5% because that's the average in Tucson. So this house right now would probably appraise for like $185,000. So it's like 3%, whatever, I can't remember the numbers, but probably would appraise for like 179, 185. But if on my scale at 3.5% per year, it should be worth $199 in 2 years. That's kind of how I look at it. But I made that up.
And what's
I
your
made that
so
up.
then what's your thought process on the monthly fee too? You said before.
I always try to,
7,000
good
market
question.
rent.
This is a good question. I always try to keep the monthly low. I try to keep the monthly in line with the rent. So it really depends on the house, it depends on the location. But I always want a low monthly. I'm never trying to go high on monthly. And keep in mind, this is $1,100. This is about a $1,200 a month house. You could rent this for $1,200. I market at $1,100. It's very attractive. They get a $100 discount when paid on time. So in my marketing, it says $1,100 a month when paid on time. I'm very clear in all of my marketing. Very clear. I even put normal payment is $1,200 a month. And I'll write it in there so freaking clear, you can't go wrong. What do they see? $1,100. I'm always going to make my payment on time. You would feel that way, right? We can do that. So that's what I shoot for. Now, if it's a really nice house and it's real expensive, I'm doing a coincided lease option, typically it's going to be higher than rents, but typically not out of whack. Because I'm looking for a higher level person, right? Okay, we're still on this one. So this is the number. It was worth 177. I forgot I actually wrote this in here. So it's worth 177 right now. Okay? So 745 goes to Wells Fargo, 150 to my investor. My total is 895. That includes everything. Okay? So I got $205 a month cash flow for 24 months if he cashes out, which I doubt he will. Then I've got $10,005 option fee plus cash out refi. So that's my total in pocket. This pocket. That's my total right there, right? I only got 35 plus 7. Follow me? And by the way, I stretched out that down. So I didn't come in with 7. I stretch it out. I usually try to stretch out for 3 times. This guy stretched it out for 6 months because he's good. He makes a lot of money. He makes 10 grand a month. And he just didn't have the cash for a lot of reasons. So I did it for him 6 months. So I don't have all this money yet. He's making a payment on the bid for $1,500. So my total on this, a house I took subject to, right? $68,000 minus $2,500 I owe the investor. If everything works out perfectly, if it doesn't work out perfectly, I'll make more than this. Because I'm going to do it again, right? I'm going to get another 7, right? My price will be higher. It's going to be $209 now, not $199, right? If the market goes down, that bet's on. But that's where we're at. Does that make sense? Any questions? Like it so far? Yeah, this is the way to sell. This is how you sell properties. All right. Next strategy. Okay. So that was a subject to existing mortgage with an investor. Now that's the key to that one, right? We don't have the cash. I don't like to spend my cash. Why? Because I like money, right? I don't like. Why would I borrow $30,000? Why would I borrow $30,000? Why would I borrow that? Anybody? $30,000. I got to pay it off, right? Leveraging, yes. Because I ain't paying it. This guy's paying $150 a month. My renter's paying. I ain't paying that money. Follow me? Money ain't costing me. I've got it in my pocket. I ain't paying for it. In fact, I'm making $200 on it. I want it here. I can't help nobody unless it's here. I don't like to borrow. I like to borrow. I like other people's money. How many like other people's money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because we don't pay for it. See, if you got the wrong mindset, you go, oh, borrow money. This is what your mama taught you, by the way. Don't borrow money. Go to school. Get a job. Don't borrow. Get your house paid off. You think your house is an asset? Your house is a liability, man. You paid for that. I rent my house. Ooh, bet y'all didn't know that. I rent my house. Why? The price to rent ratio is great. I got a $1,600 house for $1,000. Why would I buy it? I own 26 houses. Why would I pay 16? Why? I gotta hope it goes up high. What if I stay there a long time? It goes low. It could work out. It could work out, but guess what? You pay $1,600 a month for your mortgage. How much is going to that house? $200. So you paid $1,400. I paid $1,000. Got a nicer house too. Price to rent ratio. You go both ways. If I can get a good one where I live, I'm gonna take that. If I can get a good one where I sell, I'm gonna sell that. Follow me? Your house isn't an asset. It's a liability. Now you keep it long term. It's good. Believe me, don't go out and sell your house. I'm not saying that. Okay? In our situation, before we do any investing, we don't have any houses, it's good to own your own house. Once you've got houses rocking and rolling and you got stuff going on, you start leveraging and this and that, you don't want your own house anymore. You follow me? It changes. It changes. I want this guy to fix this house. Why am I going to fix an air conditioner? Why? Why am I going to pay $1,600 a should own a house. If you're not an investor, you should own a house. If you're not an investor, you should own a house. All right. Where am I? High. Okay, high. All right. Another strategy. Now, when I say strategy, it's how I buy. Right? So we had the substitute strategy. I had the coinciding lease option strategy. I had the rehab strategy where I bought it at wholesale, brought in an investor, right? That's the third strategy. This strategy is institutional loan strategy. These are all fresh deals except for the coinciding. But I did a coinciding, just wasn't this one, about a year ago. It was very similar. This one I did this year. This one's in February. Drexel, the guy's been in it 1 month. So these are all fresh deals. Okay. So I bought this house at 112. Guess what it was worth? It was probably worth 100, maybe 140,000. Would you pay 112 for 140,000 house that needs work? You would. What are you going to do with it? No, you would, right? But you're not going to flip it, right? So we got to know what to do, right? We're teaching you how to go flip a house. We're going to say, don't buy that house. That's what we're going to tell you. Don't buy that house. It's not a deal, right? So how do we make a deal out of it? I got about 10,000 in rehab. Why do I have 10,000? Because I'm not doing a $30,000 rehab on this house. I'm getting it rental ready. It needs 30 to sell it 140. I got the number. I just don't remember 149 or something. It needs 30. There ain't no deal here whatsoever when you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? All right. I sold it at $179.9. Gorgeous, perfect house. $6,000 consideration fee. Same thing, $1,100, I get a $100 discount. This house would rent for $1,100 to $1,200 all day long. They get a $100 discount, they get $1,000 a month. Why? Because it's the way I got it. All right, so I buy the house. I'm going to buy the house, put the money into it. I bought it with private investors. I would return it really, really quick. So I bought the house, fixed it up, $10,000, just made it look pretty. I got my appraisal package together, right? That's what I was talking about, fudge a little. This is fudge a little. I don't really fudge that much. But again, you got to understand the appraiser wants to cover your ass, right? CYA, that's all he's looking for, right? All right. So I go out and get an appraisal for $167. I was happy with that. I got $115,000 cashed out, right? I'm in this. Where's my number? I'm in this. I was in it like $125,000. Guess what? I only got $115. Uh-oh. 10 grand out of my pocket, right? Follow me? You guys with me? Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I've got $270 cash flow, work up to $4,800 if you pay. This is a 30 month, it's 2.5 years. $6,000 option fee goes right here and made up some of my money down, right? I'm in this thing 10 grand out of my pocket, by the way. $6,000 option fee. I got $112,000 payoff in 30 months. If all goes well, there's a $66,000 approximate deal on there. So total is $77,000 in 30 months, 11.5 cash tied up, 11.5. So I got some money tied up in this. 11.5. So after I get my 11.5 paid off, this is my deal. There's no equity, nobody else. This is me. 65 grand. This is total money. That's whole money. Why? Because I don't repair it. He repairs it. That's whole money. Why? I don't pay realtor fees. That's whole money. Why? I don't pay closing costs. I don't pay appraisals. This is real. This is the money. This ain't no, hey, I made a $90,000 margin in here. Yeah, you didn't count your holding costs. Right? You hear that? Right? How about wholesale? Right? They're the best, right? You got, 180, you can make 8,000. There's nothing, no cost involved in this. There is no cost involved in this. And that's it, you guys. So, blending lease options of blending a buy and hold and a buy and sell strategy in real estate might be the best of both worlds for real estate investors whose plays his or her cards right, and it's also investor buyers as well. Because they're controlling the property, they're buying it retail, yes, they have to buy retail. They own the property, they can do what they want with it, they have to approve it through me, they feel good about that, right? I always approve. Hey, can we paint the room? Yeah, paint it. They just don't want to do something stupid, right? That's what they want to do. They want to alter the house. I have one that just refinished the pool, painted it, spent about $4,000 on it, got a new pool deck out there and everything. And he's late on his payments. Seriously.
So you're your own property manager?
I am my own manager. I'm too tight.
That's
I've got it to a science. So when I manage my properties, everything's done by text. So I have all my contacts saved, I have all my contractors saved, I have all my tenants saved. My tenants text me, hey, I've got a plumbing problem. I just share their information with my contractor, and then he sends me the invoice. Takes a couple minutes, maybe in the ass, but that's the biggest problem. But my problem is accounting, which I've got bookkeepers and I've got that going on, but my bookkeeper is out of the office now. I used to work in the office, so I've taken back a lot of the paying the bill. Now he pays my investors and stuff like that, so he takes care of it from Florida, but I'm still paying a lot of stuff that I used to not pay, so I'm taking back a lot of stuff. That's the pain in the ass. Plus, I have everything's in my calendar. It's all stretched out. So on the 2nd, I go through everything. Everybody gets statements on the 2nd, or 5-day notices on the 8th. So everything's done. It takes me about 2 hours to go through my bank accounts, my statements. It takes me, I got it down to probably about between 5 and 8 hours a month, probably total.
So, quick question on that last deal. You're selling it to the lease option for $179.9. If they were going to use a bank to finance that, and they roll back in, and the appraisal comes in at 167, you take the hit.
Very good question. No. I put a second on it. So I'll sell it at 167. I'll put a second note on it. I've done that, by the way. You can buy it at 167. You owe one. At this time, he's not going to owe 179, right? He's going to owe about 175, right? Because he's paid his balance down, right? I'll give you $8,000 second on it. So I made it.
If finance at 167, you put the second on the property for what he owes.
I'll get it later.
Over 175.
I'll get it later.
Okay.
Now, I have a danger there. You can foreclose, right? You get foreclosed on, right? So, my notes have been negotiated a lot of different ways on my seconds. I have negotiated notes where I gave them 0 interest because they had money coming in about a year. I said, okay, you pay me in a year, you're going to be like $3,800. You pay me in a year, yeah, I got this, I forget what it was, whatever. It's okay. You pay the whole balance off within 1 year. If you don't pay it in 1 year, this note is going to jump to, I can't remember, $5,800, something like that. Guess what? He paid. Because he knew. If I don't have this drop dead date. And guess what? Came in on that date. Okay. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Take a month before the date. I'm going to get it. He never got the money he was talking about, but he got some money somewhere else.
Quick question about, you like to do lease option. Why don't you like to do it as an agreement for sale or land contract? When it's, you're giving somebody an equitable title, really, but they still don't have control.
Good question. So, because you'll have to go through a, well, there's a few reasons.
Oh, I think I know what you're doing.
Right.
Foreclosure problem.
You have to go through a foreclosure, plus it'll show them to be an equity position. Okay? One of the things that I didn't share with you guys, which is very, very important, and I just kind of breezed over it, is that one of the most important parts of our clauses is that
What was that one?
we do not,
One more. It's the very last one, I think.
did I pass it?
Yeah. One more. Right there.
Let's see. Property is conveyed subject to all liens encumbered. No, that's not it.
It says
No,
understood
Yes,
that no
okay. I
equitable
thought it was at
title.
the bottom. I kept looking down here because I thought it was down here. It's up here. This property is specifically agreed and understood that no equitable title in the property has been created.
Right, because it's a lease.
You can't do that in that. Why? State statutes.
Right. Yeah, so that's a better way to do it.
State statutes will not allow that in an agreement for sale. Plus, an agreement for sale, they control that title. As long as they don't default, they can control that title.
Yeah, the only thing they can't do is end up with judgments all over your property.
That's correct. That's correct. But there ain't no judgments going on my properties anyway. I'm the one. No one's going to get it. So no equitable title. We didn't cover that. I'm glad you brought that up. Good question. It's very, very important. Now, if this goes to court, right? Guy fights you, right? Hey, you didn't make the payments or whatever. Do you have all rights? Yes, you do. Okay. Is it going to work out? You don't really know.
Scott knows a better lawyer.
A judge might say, I don't think so. And then you have to do an appeal, right? Judges can do, you'd be surprised, it's color of law. It can be construed in different ways because Arizona State has statutes that say otherwise in a sense. But this is not a recorded contract and it doesn't fit into anything really. It doesn't fit into a rental and it doesn't fit into an agreement for sale. It doesn't fit into anything. So if the judge looks at the verbiage, he ain't got a problem with it.